Well, location today is 1 Fox Street at the Sheds. Why? Because we're seeing exactly how cell phones are starting to replace cash. And because I still consider myself a techie in training, I've roped in a cuppa with our Hypertext geeks to show us exactly how Snapscan works. Hello.
Denise, hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you, Adam?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I hope you don't mind. I've taken the liberty of ordering for you already.
How would I ever say no to a gentleman? Thank you so much.
A gingerbread iced latte, good enough?
Perfect. On the money.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Shake it, pop it, and there we go.
Absolutely. Should we grab a seat?
Yes, let's.
I'll just pay for that before we go.
53 rands, sir.
And we're done.
Thank you so much. Kindly sign this one for me, sir. Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, I think it's best we find a seat to distract my eyes from all the food around.
It does look very tasty.
Adam, no denying that using Snapscan is rather slick and very cool. So tell me exactly how it works.
So Snapscan is what they call a type of mobile payment, which basically means paying for things with your mobile phone. Snapscan itself works by using a QR code, which is like a big square barcode, and there are millions of permutations or billions of permutations on the QR code. You do need an internet connection to make this work, which is problematic in downtown Johannesburg sometimes. When your phone reads that, it identifies the merchant, and you basically tell it how much you want to pay, and the transaction happens far away on the bank's servers.
What are the principles?
So the principles of Snapscan are, a lot of experts think that the future of money is cashless and cardless, and will all converge around the mobile phone. There are a lot of advantages to that. I mean, the biggest advantage to using an app like Snapscan is that you never give the merchant any payment information, so they're not swiping your card, they can't take the details from you. You send your details to the bank, in this case Standard Bank servers, the merchant sends their details to Standard Bank servers, the transaction happens there, and then the merchant just gets a receipt that says, yes, Adam's paid his coffee bill. So in that respect, it's a big step forward in terms of security. If somebody steals your phone, you can cancel the app, there's no risk of carrying cash, and you can't have the card swiped. So there are a lot of advantages to using Snapscan.
Well, Adam, you scratched the surface of who is involved in just one transaction, which leads me to my next question. Is it very safe?
So that's a relative question. In Snapscan's case, I think, yes, we can say it's safe. It's backed by a major bank, Standard Bank in this case, so you have their guarantee, they'll underwrite any problems with it, and they make sure the transaction takes place fast enough. Now, there are hundreds of payment apps in the Google Play App Store, and unless you're absolutely sure who's providing those, I wouldn't download them and use them. Go for one that is backed by a bank, and then you're pretty safe and safer, I'd say, than using a credit card in most situations. But just be careful if you're using another type of mobile payment system.
Adam, does this technology work with all phones?
Pretty much. I mean, any recent Android phone, the iPhone, BlackBerry phone, it's all done through an app. It's exactly the same as installing any other app, and once it's on, you press the button I want to pay, it activates the camera on the back, you point it at the QR code, and it works. So as long as you've got a modern operating system and a camera, yes, it will work with any phones. There are other types of mobile payment systems. One that's very increasingly popular worldwide is using a technology called near field communications, NFC. And that uses a special radio antenna inside the phone to conduct the same sort of transaction. And that you do need a special phone with NFC built in to use. But the beauty of Snapscan is that it will work with older phones so long as they are Android, Apple, BlackBerry, Windows Phone, and have the camera in the camera.
How does it work for the vendor, and is it really beneficial for them?
So there's a lot of ways you can answer that question. So if you take a place like this, it means a vendor can accommodate customers who turn up without cash in their pockets. And I don't know about you, but I do that all the time now. I quite often find myself in a place that only accepts cash. I'm so used to paying by card. I've got nothing on me, and I end up walking around for half an hour and then leaving. So it can encourage people to spend money with a vendor. It's very simple for a vendor to use. They just need a smartphone beside the till, which they get the message that says the transaction has been authenticated on. And For certain vendors, not so much in a place like this, but the theory is that this is a really useful technology for, say, the roadside spaza store, where carrying large cash floats is dangerous. You know, the shopkeepers are regularly attacked, they have their money stolen. If you make that transition to a cashless economy, it can provide a level of security in not carrying cash for the vendors as well.
Does Snapscan make something like a credit card machine obsolete?
Not yet. I mean, so the debate around mobile money has been happening for quite a long time worldwide. You know, people have been talking about NFC technology particularly for a long time, but there's only really 2 countries where a single system has displaced cash and credit cards en masse, and that's Kenya and Tanzania, where M-Pesa was launched sort of 5-6 years ago, and now accounts for 60% of GDP passes through M-Pesa. So in those 2 countries, a mobile payment system has pretty much replaced traditional cash and credit cards. Everywhere else, there's a lot of competition in the market, and nobody quite knows whether there'll be one system globally, whether countries will sort of find their way to a system that suits them, whether they'll sort of be popular for a while and fade away. So but in the meantime, they're not going to replace credit cards, and the companies behind credit cards are very involved as well. So there's a system called the EMV system, which stands for Electron, MasterCard and Visa, the 3 big credit card issuing companies, and they are very involved in setting the standards for mobile payments. So even if the traditional plastic credit card goes away, the companies involved day one. So,
are there other forms of something like Snapscan being used in South Africa and around the world, and how do you see this growing?
So what I find fascinating about South Africa is I think we must have more options for mobile money than any other country I'm aware of.
Aren't we cool?
In Kenya, as I say, M-Pesa is leading the way. If you go to the UK, NFC is starting to take off. But here we've got Snapscan, which is pretty much leading the pack, I think. It's the most popular and it's taken off very, very well in the last 6 months or so. But that's Standard Bank's offering, although you can use it regardless of who you bank with, I hasten to add. But up against that, you've got M-Pesa, which has been launched by Vodacom, FNB have their e-wallet, MTN are working on another payment system that's coming out soon, you've got VC Pay, and we have dozens of mobile payment systems, and everyone's kind of in this stage where they don't know whether they should all be compatible or whether one is going to win out. Even ones that work like Snapscan, you've got Zappa, which is almost exactly the same system, but from a different provider.
Well, from everything that you've just told me, I think this is one contest to definitely keep my eye on, and it all sounds quite fantastic. So thank you so much. You've made me all the wiser, but now I think it's time to utilize my Snapscan wrists and do some serious shopping. So I'll catch you later.
Good luck.
Snapsticks or wors? What would you recommend?
Or biltong, lean, fatty, chili bites.
I like the sound of keeping it lean.
Lean is good. And that'll be 39 bucks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think stocking up on some hot chocolate isn't a bad idea. I spot a backpack that I think has my name on it. How much is this?
350 rand.
Now, before I purchase, I actually want to pick your brain about how awesome Snapscan has been for you as a vendor.
Yeah, it's been so fantastic. It's actually helped me because a lot of people have that issue with their credit cards and they don't, the whole thing with the crime and all that kind of thing. And this help was just snap the scan and they snap it away, I guess, and they go.
I guess so. So let me snap, scan, and snap
Take it
this
away.
baby away.
Thank you very much.
Okay, hands down, this has got to be my last purchase. I have to say that Snapscan is so addictive. You kind of lose a little bit of track with shopping because it's so easy and it just makes it a flawless experience. So, as a newly relocated Cape Town girl, I think that a Johannesburg map and a Santon book is going to do me good.